Hello everybody, I am sharing with you today an article from the NLP for Kids website and from the NLP for Kids newsletter called Selective Mutism. Something I encountered for the first time many years ago but didn't have a label for yet is selective mutism. The symptoms of this are characterized when a child who has an ability to communicate verbally does not. Often the child will have to be coaxed or encouraged into making any communication at all, such as gesturing, pointing or signing. As the mutism is selective, there are certain contexts where the child chooses not to communicate, such as at school or with particular family members. This can be really frustrating for everyone concerned, as it may appear to parents as though the child is just being difficult or stubborn. To teachers or others who fail to hear the child speaking, they may be concerned about the child's level of understanding and development. There may also be frustration here if the child is choosing to talk to other children but remains selectively mute around adults. The very first child that I worked with who had selective mutism was a little girl who attended my nursery for a couple of afternoons each week. Back then I'd never heard of selective mutism, so just assumed that she was being a stubborn little so-and-so. As such, my reaction to her condition was to be as persistent as possible, with the belief that at some point I would get her talking. And I did. And looking back now, there were a few elements that made it happen. The first thing is the use of quiet persistence. I say quiet persistence because my tactic was not to give up on speaking to her, but equally to avoid making a fuss about the fact she wasn't responding. The second thing was to build rapport. I would often play alongside her and be chatting away even though she wouldn't engage with me. The message I was giving her by doing this is that it was a safe environment and that she could feel comfortable around me. It was also important that she viewed me as being equal to her rather than the big looming adult. The third thing was giving it time. As a result of taking things at her pace, there was no pressure for her to perform. We worked within her time frame so that she was doing things at the rate and the speed with which she felt most comfortable. The fourth thing, which was the turning point, was to talk to her about something which was so familiar to her she couldn't stop herself from responding. With her, I stumbled across this quite by accident, when at tea time she was refusing to sit with the other children who were eating beans on toast. I went and sat next to her and started rambling. I started saying, I had baked beans at lunch today, but I had the ones with the little sausages in them. I don't know if you've had those before. My mum gets them from Sainsbury's, but not everyone's mum goes to Sainsbury's. Some mums go to other shops like Asda, or at this point, she gave me the biggest surprise and spoke. She said, my mum goes to Tesco's. It was as if the whole room gasped and went silent. No one had ever heard her speak before. I really felt it was important not to make a fuss about the fact that she had started speaking, so I simply added onto her comment by explaining that my mum only ever went to Tesco's if they didn't have the stuff on her shopping list. And she added to that. We carried on from there, and we never mentioned the fact that for the first few months at nursery, she had never spoken. She went from mute to shy to being one of the loudest in the group.